The river of peace. Does your mind ever feel like a storm? Overthinking is basically the modern epidemic. But what if the cure isn't working harder or outthinking the problem? What if it's the exact opposite? To get this, our source material introduces us to someone battling this exact same mental storm way before smartphones were even a thing.
So, our story centers on a young guy named Ian. He lived in this beautifully serene, quiet mountain valley. But honestly, the stillness outside did absolutely zero to calm the chaos inside his head. To the outside world, the guy was a total success. He was a wildly talented, hardworking sculptor, super admired by his whole village. He looked like he had it all together. But inside his mind, absolute hurricane. His thoughts just kept spinning and spinning. He was terrified of judgment, paralyzed by the fear of failure, and constantly comparing himself to other artisans. At night, he just lay there, awake, heart pounding with past regrets and agonizing over the future. Sure, he was successful, but he had totally forgotten how to rest. He was literally exhausting himself from the inside out.
Then, enter his old teacher, Master Ravi. One day, the master drops by and watches Ion working on this half-finished Buddha statue. Now, Ion is a master craftsman, right? His technique is flawless, but Master Ravi sees right through it. He drops this piercing observation. He says, "Ion, your hands are steady, but your mind trembles. Tell me what troubles you." And Ion just breaks down. He confesses his mind never rests, he's plagued by past mistakes, and he wants peace so badly but has zero idea where to find it.
This is where the practical instruction actually kicks in. Master Ravi doesn't give Ion some long, boring lecture. Instead, he tells him to meet down by the river the very next morning before sunrise, and to bring absolutely nothing but an empty bowl. So, next morning, under this gorgeous gold and purple sky, Master Ravi takes the empty bowl. First, he fills it completely to the edge with river water. Second, he places it on the ground and asks Ion if he can see his reflection. Ion looks, but the water is shaking. It's so full that even the tiniest breeze causes a ripple, making the reflection completely blurry. Then, step 3. The master smiles and deliberately pours out half the water. Slowly, the surface just stills. And finally, step 4. Ion looks down and boom, he sees his reflection perfectly clear in that newly calmed surface.
So what does all this mean for us? Well, that completely full bowl represents a mind operating at maximum capacity. A mind filled right up to the absolute edge with thoughts, fears, and judgments. When you're hoarding every little worry and anxiety, there's just no room left. Even the tiniest disruption, a minor inconvenience or just trying to write a simple email, causes emotional spills. You literally can't see your situation clearly because your internal reflection is constantly blurry and shaking. Now, what's really interesting about this is Master Ravi's core lesson. He tells him, when your mind is full, peace disappears. When you empty it, even a little, wisdom appears. It's such a simple, yet devastatingly accurate truth. Peace isn't this magical thing you go out and find in the world. It starts internally, the exact moment you actively stop filling your mind with unnecessary noise.
Now, understanding a metaphor is one thing, but actually doing it, that's the tricky part. So how did Ian practically apply this ancient philosophy to quiet his shouting mind? Every single morning he went back to the river. He'd close his eyes and just focus on slow, deliberate breathing. And here is the absolutely crucial part. He didn't try to force his thoughts to stop. Instead, he just watched them come and go, kind of treating them like clouds passing across the sky. At first, it was incredibly hard. His mind kept screaming, dragging up the past, agonizing over the future. But he stayed patient. Master Ravi told him, thoughts are like mud and water. If you just let them be, they eventually settle. And slowly, day by day, the noise actually faded.
The result? When Ian finally finished carving that Buddha statue, it was the most breathtaking piece he had ever made. And it wasn't because his technical skills magically leveled up overnight. The change was entirely internal. Because his mind had finally found peace, his hands were working with a calm, quiet heart. His art finally reflected the true depth of his soul, totally free from the distortion of that shaky, overflowing mind.
When Master Ravi saw the finished piece, he shared something that completely redefines how we think about relaxation. He said,
Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the strength to remain calm within it. Think about that. You don't need to escape to a silent mountain valley to find peace. Peace is an internal strength. It's a steady anchor you build that holds you firm even when the world around you is incredibly loud.
So how does this ancient realization actually apply to our crazy, demanding modern lives? Well, that evening, Ion sat by the water as the sun went down, realizing peace had always been there, just hidden beneath his own thoughts. He dipped his hands in the water and felt the second brilliant metaphor from our source material, the river. See, life is exactly like that flowing water. When you let it flow naturally, it effortlessly finds its way around every stone and obstacle. But the second you try to rigidify, the moment you try to control every single drop, it fights back. It creates turbulence.
To actually achieve that flow, you have to pour out the heavy mud clouding up your water. Specifically, you need to empty your mind of 3 burdens: fear of the future, regret over the past, and comparing yourself to others in the present. Those 3 things completely obscure your natural clarity. When you empty your mind of those burdens, you discover that peace was never missing in the first place. It was always right there, waiting just beneath the surface, exactly like a clear reflection in still water.
Peace begins the moment you stop chasing it. We seriously spend so much energy trying to acquire calm, trying to force our minds to be quiet. But true wisdom is realizing that peace is already your natural baseline. You don't have to chase it down. You just have to stop actively bearing it under unnecessary mental noise.
So I want to leave you with one final question. What is one thought you can let go of today? Take a deep breath right now. Identify one fear, one regret, or one point of comparison that just isn't serving you anymore, and let it flow away like a passing cloud. Empty your bowl, even just a little bit, and watch how much clearer your reflection becomes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Stay mindful, stay focused, and I'll catch you next time.